Hi, I really appreciate being here, and I'm going to talk today just a bit about the story of my family. We have more neurodivergent diagnoses in our household than I think windows and doors, and we're all about embracing that. And I just wanted to chat a bit about raising activists or self-advocates. And if I'm being honest, that wasn't something that I had set out to do as a plan as a parent. It was more something that happened accidentally. And in very much the spirit of Neuro Pride, I think my focus was just making sure that they loved themselves, embraced themselves, loved difference, and therefore valued that in others. And I think through that intention, um, very organically, two anarchists managed to grow. And, often people would think about that argument of nature versus nurture. And though I think we have important roles as parents, I do actually think a neurodivergent person is born with a cheat code when it comes to activism. Because one of my favorite neurodivergent common traits is absolutely a strong sense of justice. And I think if you have that within you, and just your very existence as being different in this world or being marginalized, you being yourself or having to survive in, a world that's maybe not aligned to you makes you radical in itself. So I think when it came to my intentions of just the children knowing that they mattered, I would think what I started to see first was uh, if they were expressing a need, that might be a challenge for me, like the insistence to wear the outfit that you might think is wild or inappropriate to where you're going, and them advocating for themselves and them being themselves and embracing themselves is just an example of, you know, practicing being an activist. And when they might have been presenting me with a challenge that I was trying to navigate, I think embracing that and letting them have their voice to not feel like they had to conform, I think helped to give them a confidence. And even though sometimes as a parent, and particularly as a neurodivergent parent myself, uh, certain situations might have been a bit of a challenge. What I later realized was the debates that would happen at home or the difficult moments that would happen at home was almost like a mini version of what they are going to be out in the world. And even if that was them banding together to tell me that I was wrong or something was unfair, that's collective action in my book. And that's standing up for themselves. So I think by trying to always embrace that and giving them their voice, it just quite emboldened them. Uh, and I loved then hearing, their stories of, being in school, the different ways I felt that they would show self-advocacy and activism. And I think through that, I recognized that as a parent, your child's first relationship with authority or a culture setter. Um, and I felt they very much needed a seat at the table. Their voice mattered. And I think uh, instilling that helps, give them a head start in expecting that there should be nothing about us without us, and that they need to be involved in decisions that affect them. And I think what also helped with, this accidental, like wonderful outcome that I saw with my two little anarchists was by wanting them to be very much themselves and recognize their own, um, you know, character as being wonderful and awesome, but also that they have needs that they need to look after too. I think that allowed them to be activists or advocates in their own way. You know, they're very different, and activism or advocacy doesn't need to all look the same. I have one child that will love to go to marches and be the loudest person there, and another that just doesn't have the capacity for that level of noise, but they do their own thing in their own way, and not being expected uh, to conform, I think, allowed them to feel confident in themselves in that way. And I've just seen them grow and grow and grow in a way that I'm really proud of. And it was quite unexpected for me that when I saw these qualities develop in them, uh, that actually those challenging moments that were maybe difficult for me as a parent were actually the greatest gift I could have given myself as a parent, because knowing that they can stand up for themselves and stand up for others takes away so much fear of when I can't be there to help them or I can't be there to model for them. And I know that they can do it on their own in their own way. Um, and so it fills me with an awful lot of pride. And I could talk and talk for days about how, you know, one child will make posters for school or make um, bracelets, you know, for a particular cause. And then another child is particularly challenging and loud and wonderful in that capacity, um, and how they stand up for others. It's something that I think is a wonderful gift as a parent you can give. Um, so it's just about being a bit humble, and letting them love themselves, embrace themselves, and continually, constantly challenge you and make your life extra, extra difficult to help make theirs and the rest of the world's a bit better.
Amazing. Thank you, Jennifer, so much. As a parent of a little activist, uh, they are amazing and they are great. But I think all parents that allow their children to be raised in such ways, sometimes, yeah, you're right, it is a challenge when they start using their little debate skills or whatever, or the my body, my choice gets
Mhm.
used a lot for reasons why they just shouldn't have to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I had that. My body, my choice. I wouldn't go anywhere, anywhere they didn't want to go. Um, but you know, uh, I absolutely love that. Although it makes it difficult to get things done, I loved that about them. And I'd rather them love themselves and be what society might be considering difficult people, than diminish themselves, and not be able to stand up. I think anything to do with conformity, you know, is just de-radicalizing.
It is. Why is it they say like challenging children become the change makers in
Mhm.
of the future? So yes, thank you so much for your time, your talk, and for raising those little activists. And um, thank you so
Thanks.
much.